Alright, so now we're going to take a look at creating named constants by using the final keyword. So whenever we create what is known as a constant and we assign some value to it, as the name would imply, this value cannot be changed later. So this is to say that these constants are going to remain constant. So in this example, we are assigning the value 0.069, and once we've done this assignment, that value cannot be changed later. So you'll notice that when we do the declaration for it, it looks very similar to a variable declaration. The one difference is going to be that we are now introducing that final keyword. So in this case, you're going to see final double and then the name for it. So still see a data type, double. We then see a name. In this case, whenever we're dealing with doubles, the standard for how we name it, you'll notice looks a little bit different. So we're going to put the name in all capital letters. So we've got interest rate. And then anytime that we have words, so we want to separate the words in our variable name, we're going to use an underscore as the separator. So go ahead and minimize this. We'll create a new project. So get that set up in NetBeans, be a new Java application. We'll go ahead and create a project. We'll call it constants. Finish this. We'll go ahead and remove these extra comments that we don't need. Go ahead and make some adjustments to the style, move the curly braces around, and then right here, what we'll go ahead and do is create that constant. So we're going to say final, and use that final keyword. We'll then give it a data type, so in this case, it's going to be a double. So it's going to be something that holds a decimal number, and then we're going to give it a name. And when we're dealing with constants, best practice is to make the name in all capital letters. So we're going to say interest, then an underscore, and then rate. So we'll then go ahead and assign a value to it. So say 0.069. And then if we want to go ahead and start using this, maybe we want to just print it out, for example. We can do a print statement. We can just print out interest rate. We could use it with some math operations. Maybe, for example, we want to just go ahead and do our math operation just right here inside of this print statement. We can go ahead and do that. So just do interest rate times, say, let's say 1,000. So just do something like that within that print statement. Go ahead and save this, and if we run it, we'll just go ahead and do that 0.069 times 1,000. And we can see we get 69.0. So we can basically treat it almost as if it was a variable, but there is, of course, that one key difference, which is that if we try to change that value later, say we just take that interest rate and we try to assign something else to it, say maybe 0.037, we'll get an error for that. And if we double check this error right here, it's going to tell us we cannot assign a value to final variable interest rate. So by final variable, what it means to say is this constant. So we're unable to change that once we've assigned something to it. And of course, it's also important to remember that this only applies once we've actually assigned something to it. So if we only declare it right here, say maybe we do something like this, then of course line 9 right here will not give us an error anymore, because this is now going to be the first time that we've assigned something to it. If of course we try to do another assignment later, we just do a second one right here. Maybe now we want to give it that 0.069. Then of course that line would be the one that gives us the error. So just keep in mind that you can declare it and not necessarily assign anything to it initially, so you don't necessarily have to initialize it immediately. But once you have given it some initial value, it must keep that value forever. So it must be constant. So let's go ahead and remove this line, or let's go ahead and just comment this line out, and we'll leave the rest as it is. So in addition to being able to create or just write your own constants, you will also find various constants that are used within the Java application programming interface, that Java API. For example, the math class actually provides a constant pi, so that'll give you that value 3.14, digits repeating. So if you wanted to be able to use that, maybe for example, you're trying to get either the area or the circumference of a circle, as one example. You can go ahead and create a variable for your radius. So say double radius is equal to 5.0. We'll then create another variable, double area. That's going to be equal to, we'll go ahead and get that pi constant from our math class. So we're going to say math.pi. And we'll go ahead and multiply that by the radius squared. So just do times radius, basically accomplish the same thing. Again, you'll notice, even though the word itself is very short, we do at least capitalize every letter in the word. So both P and I are capitalized. So we're still following that same convention that we saw with interest rate. So we'll go ahead and include this example right here as well. So right here, after this print statement, we'll go ahead and make our double radius. This will be equal to 5.0. We'll then go ahead and make our double area. Say this is equal to, and we're going to get math.pi. So we'll get that pi constant from our math class. And we'll go ahead and multiply that by radius times radius. So effectively being multiplied by the radius squared. And then we'll go ahead and say maybe you want to display that as well. So we'll just go ahead and print that to the console. So this will be for area. Add one more line between them. So then if we go ahead and run this, then we can go ahead and just get that area as well. So it'll be 78.5398, so on and so forth. So you'll notice that it does actually carry out this constant pi to quite a few decimal places. If I remember correctly without counting, the math.pi constant is up to 15 decimal places. Alright, so at this point this is going to wrap up everything that I wanted to say about creating constants. So a fairly short topic for this one. Getting into the next video, we'll go ahead and start taking a look at the string class. So we're going to start moving away from our primitive data types. We're going to take a look at least one class type, one additional data type that we use pretty extensively throughout our programs.